Go ahead.
Okay, so roll call. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And Mr. Hill,
Here.
Mr. Lopez,
Here.
and Ms. Zapata. So we have a full quorum and proof of notice. We emailed it on Friday and it was posted Friday.
Good.
So general topics of discussion, I'll run through quickly. Is we have the Thyssen elevator contract coming up for 5 years, and I had submitted that to Mr. Hill, who is our resident elevator expert. He is.
Very good.
I don't know how many other people here worked as
Nobody,
long
I
as he
think,
did
can
with
keep it going.
Schindler, so
Very experienced.
he knows how to read them well. And I don't know, Mr. Hill, I think I'm going to let you take it from here. What you found, what you.
Well, I think it's an easy decision. We had a previous price 5 years ago of $3,800 a month for the 10 elevators maintenance. And that was for 2 years. And then the total annual price was capped at 4%. I don't have exactly the figure now of the contract is over. What are we paying right now? Maria?
We are paying about 13 plus a quarter. Yeah, I think that's what I sent you,
No, but.
a quarter. Because, they give us quarterly.
Yeah, but I'm talking about monthly price.
Yeah, so,
But after the extras that they added in the last 5 years and so on, what was the last price we were paying?
how was it?
Uh,
I mean, that,
The maximum they could get was 4,100.
Right.
And then, I don't know the exact figure, but it doesn't matter. They had a the maximum possible 4,100 and something. I don't think we got to that point.
No, the maximum was 4,166.
Okay,
That was the maximum.
okay. And then the new contract, it's at 4,100, so there's no actual increment. And the good part about it is that it is fixed for 5 years.
Oh, cool. Not even in inflation.
Right.
Wow.
That could be news in the newspaper. No inflation.
So I think it's a very good deal.
More than perfect.
Very reasonable.
So you want to make a motion?
Make a motion to accept Eastern Group's offer.
Second.
All in favor?
All right. One thing,
Thank you, sir. One down.
one down.
One down, another one bites the dust. The other thing that we have is the line of credit. The line of credit, as the board knows, we've been talking about it for some time. And it's because our hurricane deductible is basically $3 million. We have this project that is underway right now. And I think it would be wise to have enough money should something happen. Hopefully it does not. Thank you.
That's a precaution.
Right.
Not costing anything to you.
Right, that's correct. But
No cost to the
That's it.
there's no cost to initiate it. There is a cost to maintain it. So here's what it is. We went to two different banks, BB&T and Valley Bank. We have established relationships with both of these banks. Okay. Both institutions basically offered us the same terms. The terms are 36 months. The fee for BB&T is $3,550. The fee for Valley Bank is $3,500. I'm sure we can negotiate with BB&T if we wanted to go with them, so we'll get it closer to $3,500. The only thing I have to say between both of them is that I have found it easier to work with Valley than BB&T. I have his phone number, his phone, if you wanna talk to the bank guy.
No. You're the one that's
You've already-
serves.
Well,
You're the one that serves. So you're the one who wants to at least keep what you have, right? Not that you.
We don't pay the 3,500 unless you call and say, okay, we want the line of credit.
no, you pay the 3,500
To
for
have the
either
money.
bank, to have the money available. So it is an annual fee. It may go up next year, I don't know, whatever. And then obviously, 30 days after we use it, we have to turn it into a term loan. And that term loan will depend then on those rates
Yeah,
at that time, because
whatever the rates are. It's a good question.
so, but I have to explain this very carefully because it has to be outlined in the minutes.
Okay.
And then, just for your information, I should be using my mask, because I'm not 6 feet away from you. So for your information,
We're going on.
all of you would be the only people that can access that line of credit. So should there be a terrible occurrence,
Catastrophe.
a catastrophe, thank you, very much. We would need everybody to be on the same page. Okay, so do I have a motion? I can't make this motion.
So you have a motion to approve the initiation of a line of credit for an annual fee of $3,500
For what bank?
for the bank that Maria
Valley,
thinks is the better bank.
for a fee of $3,500.
BB&T is not the one that became true.
Yes, BB&T is becoming.
It's true.
Yeah, it's the one that's becoming true.
It's true. It is true. It's only the.
Yeah, but
somebody.
they haven't finalized the change of name.
Oh, they're already in charter. They have one building already. They're together.
And then
They
this
became the
is the
sixth
most
largest bank. in the US.
up-to-date accounts receivable.
So you take a look.
Oh, no. Leah made a motion, who seconded it?
What?
Second the motion?
Tell me something,
Second, right.
we cannot split this line of credit with the both of them.
Then we'd have to pay fees to each bank.
Yeah, half of the 3.5 to each.
I don't know if it would
Because
be.
it'd be good to continue working with both of them.
No, we're not severing our relationship
No, I
with
understand,
BB&T.
but,
Let me tell you, my opinion is that basically, the way this situation is, the way the building, et cetera, it's gonna be very, very difficult. That we have. It's just a decision that whoever, it's hard. But if you look at how we are built, and you look at like that, it's a lot of money. And, it isn't, it's like, it has to not too much of a major strategy, major hurricane war is gonna happen. We don't have earthquakes here, it's just a hurricane, and it's very difficult, but for a few dollars to have it covered, I think it's
yeah,
excellent.
with that, I'm just questioning,
Yeah.
in loud voice, whether it be good to work with the sixth largest bank in the US, plus our reliable partner,
Well,
rather than only our reliable.
it's all-
If this line of credit can be split with the same. That's it.
You're,
So you want me to go back and check? And then have a meeting?
no.
No, you have to have another meeting because both banks are going to require
It has to be in the minutes.
it has to be in the minutes and it has to be posted and it has to be that type of meeting.
I just mentioned the bank because I know them, I know them. They're 50 Florida. So I just happen to know, I don't even have an account there. They became this because I saw them in Charlotte. So it's up to,
What would you like to do?
Me?
Yeah.
It's just what I said. I mean,
Okay, so
why leave one out? We were working together well with both of them. Unless it costs us more than another
Okay, so do I go back and investigate that if we have another meeting?
But that means,
Yes,
for
I have to
example,
do that.
that, how are you gonna do that? You divide, can you do it? Can you divide the 3 million into 1.5 and 1.5? No. I don't think so.
Well, if you can, then
I
that was
don't
my
know
question.
that.
No, but you can have them both at the same time, maybe, you're right. I don't know.
I just think we're delaying it. And then we have to have another meeting.
I am totally open whenever, you
I cannot vote on this one.
can't vote, you cannot vote, you're the one that's doing the day-to-day. And we have to trust the person who's doing the day-to-day and the operation, and the one's gonna ask for loan, and all that. That's only my feeling.
I think it's probably gonna be a little more costly, because I don't think that because we asked for half the money, it's gonna be half the fee.
I don't think so either.
That's what I think it's the,
Then go with whichever you.
okay, well, the motion on the table is to approve the initiation of the Valley Bank line of credit for $3 million at a fee of $3,500. We need a second.
I second the motion.
Is everybody voting in favor or?
Hey,
Hey,
Okay.
going back to between us, I see the possibilities of the operation, that we would need the loan, that loan. So this is gonna be that, it's gonna be easy. The way the building is, et cetera. If this was talking of a loan for OCA, that'd be different. Because if we can hit in LOCA, with a major, it's millions and millions and millions of dollars. But we're a sound building, we're now doing something which is interesting. I remember mentioned off the top. I told Maria this, because of this thing, after we had this thing,
Surfside.
Miami Beach, Surfside, that get somebody to even go to ask, some of the buildings are doing it, to go to ask for like a revaluation, because we don't have the 40 years. But because of one way we're paying it, we will now have, which other people don't have, a status of the architectural of our building, and that's gonna be, am I correct? That's
Yes.
And I think that's important, because there's two things. First of all, people are afraid. And second, one of our sister condo associations is in a major problem. Interior. It's not towers. Have a thing, remember they had this whole thing, they got rid of their board, except for the $10 million. And then they put this, it started with this new one. And unfortunately, Surfside started, and people started shopping. And the board has been resigned twice. They've got an issue. People here, as somebody told you in the morning, they don't even know what they live. People walk in, you were talking about something here. People talk in and they say, I live in Ocean Club. You don't live in this building, no, it's the same fine. I live across the street. People here don't realize that they live, that we're 6 different associations, with different clients, etc. So anything that we can be covered is excellent.
No, I think that's perfect timing.
Okay, so we passed the motion
Yeah.
for, that. I just want to bring to your attention something that is not on the agenda, and that's your, receivables. Like I said, the office management has been working very hard on receivables. We did collect the owner that was very much in arrears. And so a lot of the things that you see on here, for example, $136, that's been paid. So what we're really missing is one for 7,300, 7,300, and one for 8,500. 8,400. Sorry. Those are the two that are really outstanding. The 8,400 lives in-house and is out of the country, so we expect that one to be paid. And we also expect the 7,300 to be paid, but I don't know where they are. And they do not, they're traveling, and
They're traveling.
This is their second home, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to bring you that, and so we have actually well, this has been better than we had before, because we have maybe $20,000 out. So we're really doing well. All right, so now for the, not so hot news.
The budget.
This is a very preliminary draft of the budget, so don't kill the messenger.
Very preliminary.
So, but if you go all the way to the green side and all the way to the bottom, you see that little thing in the box with the percentage?
Yeah,
We put on my little readers.
I should have.
It says 838.
Yes.
830. Let me just tell you that right now, in the insurance industry, is getting worse instead of better. Of course, we are going to be going outside, we are going to be asking for a representation letter so we can open it up further. We had discussed that before. But from what my other friends, that are in the business tell me, and from what I've seen, insurance appraisals, because you have to have an insurance appraisal now to get reimbursed. We already know that our insurance appraisal is going to go up.
We know.
We already know this because we knew it from last year. So, having said that, we can expect some kind of a hit on our insurance. We took a 35% hit. I just heard of a building that mid-year is coming up with an extra 100-something thousand because their hit is 55%.
When we met with Fred Joe, was that for next year's, that was for next year's premium, or was it half this year and half was
No,
it April?
yes, because we are on an April to April. So when we figure out insurance premiums, we do 4 months at this rate, and then we put a percentage on it for the budget. So I'm using a 25% number. Now, I'm hoping it'll come in somewhere between 13 and 17,
That's a few dollars.
Because it already went up a lot,
35.
so. I mean,
I just want you to keep in mind that the insurance industry doesn't look at how many times a hurricane has saved you. The insurance industry looks at the global, how many fires, mudslides, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, all of that stuff goes into it. And if you think of California and their fires, the floods in Tennessee, mudslides, we are living in catastrophic times here.
well, not only that, we're in a barrier on.
And we have the additional, we are on barrier. So I'm not showing you this, I'm showing you this because obviously this. And then we also have the crisis with the employment, which, is going to, promises to get better because the incentives from the government are going away.
Yeah.
But still people can't live on what they used to live before because they really just cannot.
It's
And,
inflation.
we have a pool of people to draw from and we have to keep that in mind.
The two drivers of the increase is insurance and payroll. Right?
Yes,
Payroll benefits and insurance.
correct. Let's take a step. Yes, everything else is pretty much stable because the contractors that we subcontract with understand and are having their own problems.
Yeah.
So, they're looking at, wow, we have these people that we've been working with for a long time, they pay us, and they pay us because, we're on the money with that. But at the same time, they're having their issues too because they have to pay their employees more. For example, the janitorial contract isn't going up. We've stabilized that, but we've reduced the person. So, we're playing with manpower,
And the valet.
the valet issues,
So
the
that's a
contract is
big,
going up.
relatively big issue.
So the valet contract is going up to exactly what we're paying the valets now with the $4 civil reimbursement. So we need to think of what we're gonna do with that civil reimbursement.
How much? You don't have to answer this now, but how much of the hourly rate that we give the company do they get?
Okay,
So that's before the $4 increase. So then, now in the new contract, how much of that $4 increase do the people get? So, for instance, if they were getting 10 all the way, and we gave them 4, they get 14. Now, we're giving 14, are they getting 16? I mean, are they getting the 14, or from the 14, are they getting 12?
my understanding is that the company is keeping about
Only $1?
$1.
So they can.
That's my understanding right now. I'm gonna maybe put that in writing.
Get, press, what's it? Nicolás,
No, Nicholas is COVID.
what?
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah. So, sorry about that.
okay.
So,
So just, if that's true, then we don't have to give another $4.
We already started giving out $4.
Yes, because
Next year.
of what they were getting, but if they're getting more, maybe we don't have to, I mean, it's just something.
That's right, you're right.
You know,
no, that's, I'll get that in writing.
Yeah.
I'll get that in writing from them.
They can even give you a percentage or something.
No, let's get how much.
Oh, let's see how much.
yeah, exactly.
Let's go for the whole ocean race. Let's get how much. All right, so while we're on parking,
And what percentage were you planning for payroll increase for the staff? Average.
okay, so I put an average of 3. We know that we have to talk about that because we did something this year.
Right.
So I have, the analysis is actually, pretty well underway. It's something that I actually need to talk to you about, hopefully at the end of the meeting. But right now, we're looking at a pretty hefty increase in the budget. And we also have to think about not just this final 8%, but obviously, we're using reserve funds. We need
But
to,
even this year, which we thought that we were going to do, we're coming out well.
yes, but next year,
And
the
we've been coming
reserve,
out well for 20 years. That's why we have all that money.
yes, but,
And we have here increasing, so maybe those things, anything that we can reserve is on the reserve category.
okay, this reserve number in this budget is incorrect. Because the reserve are scheduled to go up quite a bit this next year. So I this is just for you
Let me
to
just
start
mention,
thinking about.
this. Remember, the other associations, most of them are already signed that they don't need the reserve and they've got the thing going down. I think we should try to keep our reserves at a nice level.
Fully
What?
funded.
But,
Fully funded.
what?
Funded.
Right, but, let's see what it is.
So then you would consider less than full?
Let's give it everything can be seen in the black paper and the pink paper. Let's see what the next, and go with something that can be brought up.
Okay. So while we're on the subject of, parking, let's just the TK contract that you're.
Sign?
Yes, if you could sign it for me with the access, please. Parking. Okay, while we're on the subject of parking, I got an email from OCA on the new task force
Yeah.
that they're implementing for the parking issue. And I want our residents and the board to understand where we are with our parking issue. I did have the opportunity today to meet with Alf and Caesar and go through where we're gonna be putting the dumpster for the debris from the painting, from the building refurbishing project. So that's settled, but then they took a look at the area and what we do with our contractors in the front. And what I wanna say is that right now, this crew that's doing the mobilization and setting up the scaffolding and stuff, they are carpooling for the most part, and they are meeting out in front of Mass Academy and where Rusty Pelican is, and carpooling it, because that's really the only place where you have between here and anywhere that you don't get towed or public parking. But a lot of the trucks that are out there, maybe they have one or two trucks, but most of the trucks that are out there are trucks that come here to service the individual unit owners. Air conditioners, the delivery of dishwashers,
And construction.
and inside a unit, they have construction.
We got quite a few units.
Right now, OCA's direction to the buildings is if somebody has somebody working in their unit, that unit owner is supposed to surrender one of their parking spaces for their contractor. That works well and good, if it's one contractor with one car and a car, because if not, it doesn't fit. Or if the unit owner has a free space, because sometimes the unit owners don't. So, I wanted to bring that up.
Remember, the construction guys usually are constructing a place that's empty.
Well, I mean, you can
Many
have
times,
service
most
people.
of the places are empty, so they've got 2 parking spaces. Let's try to get in that parking space.
Well,
But most of these constructions are.
Plumbing,
No, but I mean, most of those people that we had in doing construction are total remodeling.
That is one thing, but if the plumber comes,
Oh, no, service.
you know,
Service is one day.
yeah, but that's one day.
that's one day.
That's one day if you don't have parking there. So that's one day. You think service, well, honestly, it's not just, I mean, you could be having your hurricane shutters serviced, or you could be having your windows replaced, and that's a week. So, I mean, you know, I just wanna bring that, because that affects globally the Ocean Club as well as Ocean Tower. And then I did mention the incident with the parking this weekend that just happened, that somebody says, I'm staying in the cabanas and here are my keys, and leaves the keys. And it was like, no ma'am, we can't park your car. Oh no, my car's already parked, I don't care, just give me the keys. And the car slept out there. She came in this morning, picked up her keys and left, but
That maybe should have gone to security.
that needs to be
Not for, we shouldn't be taking that
No.
responsibility.
correct.
But that's a whole other.
Right.
But I just wanted to
Yeah.
bring it up so that it's part of parking. And
One thing is we have to train our valets.
Right.
When you come up here and say, I want to park my car, what unit are you visiting and what is the name of the owner?
Right.
And then what is your name? And make it not an automatic, here's the key to park the car.
no,
Because we have people that are visiting the cabana, not even OCA people. A guest comes along and says, oh, this is convenient, I'll just use this valet. And then what happens is our own residents who are paying for the valet don't have access for their guests. So we have to find a way with OCA sending something out to the cabana owners that,
Supposedly, if you have guests,
right,
they have the parking truck.
no, that's correct. And you know, like I said, we did what we did.
Yeah.
And what we did was correct. But at the same time, you know, it was not, we're not gonna get confrontational with the unit owner or with the guest. And it was solved.
you don't have to get to confrontation. We can call security and say, this
Right.
person doesn't belong here. It could be, who,
It could be a
you
beauty
don't
bar.
know who it is.
Correct. So we need to partner and be on the same page. So since some, Mr. Lopez, are gonna be on the committee,
I mean, I started the whole thing when I saw that they had 3 parking spaces here. 3. They were ready to paint them. They had separated, they were ready to paint them. Why don't we paint this? No, because these are the way that the cabana owners can park here.
it's supposed to be
while
loading and
they
unloading.
load on it. Wait a minute. No. Yes, we don't own that piece of street, but we have as much rights because of the 110.
Leave the recorder.
And I said, if you look, I told Al, you manager, listen,
Do we have people on,
Yes. Not
Just
one,
one.
but just one.
okay.
we do?
And we have one
Do they have a question?
So basically, I told him this, Al, you gotta look into this, because basically, if you look about it,
Wanna
So I
use
said-
your phone?
everyone who has a cabana and lives here has a direct entrance.
You wanna leave your
Everyone in
phone?
OT2 has a direct entrance. Even the club towers have an entrance inside. So it's just the buildings that are on that side. And I can guarantee, I don't know the figure, so like I said,
So
if you
can
take
do
those
whatever
3
you-
associations, it's 65% of the owners of
right.
Ocean Club.
I'm listening for
If
it.
you had, out of that, who owns Cabana, I can show you not that many people who own Cabana. But there's 2 or 3 influential people that own Cabanas, and don't live here, this is the problem. And they raised it. And I said, no.
Are we still meeting?
why don't we just-
So I just wanted to bring the parking issue up because I
Okay.
know that it's going to be
I think
it
so.
is going to be a big issue. It is a big issue.
The parking issue is a big issue for Togo, Oka. And
Correct.
they have a bigger issue than we have. Every darn building. As you know, Lake Towers don't even have a receiving area. There's no receiving area. They had 3 of their own parking spaces, which they put up for sale. They started at $50,000 each. They were sold 50, 55, 57. Which the apartments are much, much less. Why? Because the developer didn't do them. And we, even if you look at it, and say we, Ocean Tower 1, first of all, we didn't lose a piece of land like that when they lost, and the developer gave the land from OT2 over to the municipality, right? So they have less parking spaces than we have. And they have less parking spaces inside than we have. And they have the same amount of units. So they also have a problem. So forget it. In our case, we absolutely believe that we, as we talk to the 111 people that live here, all members of the club, and we can't get free of it. Should be. They come out with a solution, and that's stopped. I think it's stopped.
I mean, how many people come during the week anyway? I mean, you could do something different on the weekend than during the week.
Yeah.
To be more flexible and be a good neighbor. And say, okay, Saturday and Sunday, you could use whatever, again, for 30 minutes loading and unloading. But that's different than tying them up permanently, for 7 days a week. It doesn't make sense.
And also up to now, security has putting the little things on the side.
Yeah.
Okay? Eventually, they're gonna have to start saying towing. And in Dade County, if you tow something, you're in trouble. Because there's somebody, a private contractor picks it up and leaves it in the middle of nowhere. We have not their office. That's a racket. In Dade County, some of these towers are rackets. And then you only 155.
All right, so we actually have no more business on the agenda.
Okay, good.
We're off the line?
No, we haven't adjourned. We have to adjourn.
Okay, adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Okay.
get off the line, because something, I want to bring it up.
No,
No?